Welcome back to Bang for Your Buck TCG. Today, I want to talk to you about Riftbound Regional Qualifiers and mainly the Barcelona event that's coming up in the next day or two. And I'm going to be talking to you guys what I think about it, showing you the legends that's available to pick up during that time, the best of prize and the prize wall one, right? The middle ones. And wanted to kind of just get familiar and try to get a good feel for the market before it kind of starts in the next few days. Before that, I wanted to kind of briefly explain how the regional qualifier works, and this is based on what I understand how it works, right? You have these circled dots here, which represent a regional qualifier, and then I try to add some color tally marks. These are when the set was released, and this is important because during the event, there's usually three sets only for each particular regional, right? So right now we have Spiritforged, Unleash, and Vendetta. Origins got rotated out. So understanding that is going to be important because you need to understand when the supply rotates out, right? And it's important to kind of distinguish when I'm saying that Origins was rotated out. I'm not saying that the cards itself was rotated out of competitive play. I'm mainly talking about the best of prize and those prize walls was rotated out, right? So hopefully that kind of makes sense. Origins cards are still in play. You could definitely still use it during competitive play. So looking at this, let me see what's the best way I could explain this. So there's only usually three sets that's coming out, and Origins rotated out when Vendetta came out, the regional before that. So when I'm looking at this, Origins got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 regional. So because understanding this, I know that best of price for Origins have 9 best of, and then for the prize wall you have 35 times 9, right? Which is 300 something, I think. 320-ish, right? So that's under. So just know that that's about the population that's gonna be for the Origins best of and the prize wall. So knowing this, Spiritforged is gonna rotate out before Radiance gets released, and that's gonna be Los Angeles, right? So right now, if I'm looking at this, I have Barcelona, Singapore, and Los Angeles to accumulate anything that's in the Spiritforge best of prize if I wanted to accumulate it, because after Los Angeles, it's going to rotate out. A good thing to keep in mind is there is going to be a regional championship where they're going to have probably a lot more prize wall. They're going to bring some of the older legends back as well. So it's definitely to keep an eye on. But just looking at this, the Spiritforge one, I have about 3 more regionals to kind of accumulate this, right? So, I thought that. So when I'm looking at this, what Spiritforge, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's already 8 regional and 3 more, so that's only 11. So understanding this, I know that the Spiritforge have 11 best of, and then prize wall is going to be the same concept, right? 35 times 11. I thought that it was 12, so maybe they're missing one somewhere. But yeah, that's the general concept on how regional qualifier works and how the prize wall are distributed. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. I kind of did my best in trying to explain it. So yeah, Barcelona. What am I looking for? What am I seeing? Things like that, right? So let's kind of take a look here. So I kind of crop all the pictures here just so that we could kind of go through it and kind of get a better idea on what's going on in the market, right? July was very crazy for Riftbound, right? A lot of these were kind of finding their value of it. But looking at this on the left side, I guess let's kind of explain it. We have 12 legends here for Spiritforge, which is right here. In the middle, you have 12, and then for Vendetta, you only have 9. So for Barcelona, I think there's only 33 legends available for best of prizes. When I'm looking at this, the first thing I'm really looking at is always going to be demand. Like I look at the highest demand card first, and then I kind of work my way down. And then for Spiritforge, for this one, Aurelia pops up, Diana, LeBlanc. Vendetta is Akali for sure. I don't know, maybe Mel. I think Mel is surprising. So it's really all the female characters, right? So if you're asking me top five, I would say Akali, Aurelia, Diana, LeBlanc, and maybe Mel as far as top five from what I think. Knowing this, what am I gonna do? I don't know. It really just depends on the price point, right? Like these price point right now, I think for best of prices, you're looking at minimum 20,000. 20 to 30,000. I think for something like Akali, where I think it's gonna be the top chase, you might be looking at 30, 40, maybe even 50,000 just for the best of price. And that sounds crazy. That's a lot of money, even for me, right? Like I don't have disposable income like that. I wish I did, but I don't have it like that. And some millionaires, they might have a lot of money like that to just kind of just buy everything, right? But for me, I don't have that, so I'm kind of looking at this just to see what I want to do for the weekend if I wanted to look for any opportunities, right? A good rule of thumb that I use is the best of price is usually 10 times more than what the regular price wall is. When I'm looking back at some of the earlier purchase I did, like for example, Israel, right? Israel was, I think, around 1300 for the regular price wall, and then the best of price was around 12 to 15,000. Ari was around 30,000 for the best of, and the regular price wall was around 3,000. So the general guideline that I kind of use is just times 10 multiple of it, right? So when I'm thinking about it, if Akali is 30,000, then the regular price wall should be around 3,000 is kind of the general framework that I'm hoping that it's gonna land on. So when I'm looking at this, what do I want to do? Spiritforged, I collected some of it, not all of it. I don't know if I could afford these. There's so many upcoming things that we have, right? We have T1 bundle that's coming. We have the regional championship where they're gonna have over numbers best of. Like we have to save up for that. Like there's just so many that's in the pipeline that it's kind of crazy to really think about it, And this is the first time where we see a big gap up. Riftbound Regional. I think it's been like on a break for 2 months. I don't know. I think I might just gotta sit this regional one out just as far as buying. I want to kind of see how things are flowing. I want to see where everything settles and just kind of go from there. A lot of my money, if I have it saved up, it's kind of like, do I really want to buy 50? Do I want to spend 50,000 on a best of Akali, right? And you could argue that, hey man, Ari was 30,000, it jumped up all the way to 100,000, and now it's trading, for 200,000, 250, right? And that's crazy to really think about it. Akali could have do the same thing, yes. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm looking at it. I think it really just depends on the price point. Everything depends on the price point, but at the same time, from what I noticed, I like to just stick to the high demand items. Like let's just say like for Vendetta, right? I don't know if it's in high demand. Even if you got the best of for a affordable price, like is it a good buy? Even if you could get it for 15, 20,000. I mean, I don't know. Like the tricky thing about these metal cards is that it's not that easy to grade. And when you're at the price point where you're catering to items that's 20, 30, $50,000, selling a PSA 9 is a little bit harder than a PSA 10, right? When someone is spending top dollars, they usually want a PSA 10 for the most part. You could argue that, hey, Spiritforged is only pop 11 out of the whole existence, so the raw is still gonna sell. But when someone is dropping 50K, 100,000, like they're gonna want the PSA 10 first. And if that's not available, then yes, they might settle for the PSA 9. So that's just something to think about. Grading these is a little difficult. I think when I graded most of my best of, half of it was PSA 9s, half of it was PSA 10s. So it's just something that I'm thinking about, as far as like the risks as well, right? But yeah, I mean, top five. I think Akali, if it was for 30,000, I might think about buying it. 40,000, 50,000. I don't think so. And if it's really that expensive, I might just go down to the regular prize wall, just the regular medals of the prize wall. And if those are around 2,000, 3,000, I'll definitely buy it if it's 2,000. But I think it's gonna start at around 3, 4, maybe even 5,000. Because like I said, it's usually around 10%, 10 times the multiple, right? Um, Mel is an interesting one just because Mel's been performing better than I thought. I'm not too familiar with this legend besides Arcane. Kennen I thought was cool. Zed maybe. This one I might just wait it out. I'll see where prices kind of go and then maybe wait till the next one, which is Singapore, and then wait till Los Angeles just to see. But just be mindful, Spiritforged is gonna rotate out after Los Angeles, so if I wait till then, everyone might be fighting for these champions, right? Just because they're going to be rotating out, and that could be true. That's a risk that I'm going to have to take if I'm not trying to buy some of it now. But I don't know. I told myself I don't want to put additional new money into my investments right now. I should have just tried to rotate it some of my profits from some of my other investments over here, right? But that's one of the struggles that I'm dealing with. I have a hard time selling. I like to collect, I like to hold it, but at the same time, I don't have a money printer, so I can't just keep buying stuff, right? So that's something that I have to struggle with. That I have to learn that, hey, I should de-risk some of my older stuff that has a lot of profit, rotate it into here. So it takes some planning. I have some money that's meant for like buying some RE alluring promos and the T1 bundles, right? I have some money saved for that. So it's like I don't want to use. Do I want to use those money just to buy some of these bets of prize? I don't know. Kind of hard to say. So, long story short, I guess ultimately I think I'm okay with just sitting this one out. I'm gonna just kind of see how price stays around and just kind of go from there. Like my top five picks, I don't know if those will be the top picks. We just really just got to see how demand goes, see what price it falls around, and kind of go from there. Some interesting thoughts for me though is just like as a player, right? Because I don't know nothing about the game for the playing side, right? But if you're a player and you're playing this, do you build a deck based on the incentive of what the price card is? Like meaning like Garen, Ari, like if they're like the top meta, but you don't get any incentive in playing them because you don't win any best of prize or anything, will you still try to play those champions versus everyone's gonna be try to force to get a good Akali deck or a Aurelia deck or something, right? Like I don't know. Like that's just some of the questions that I'm thinking of if I'm looking at this from the outside lens, right? Like how much of how much of a driving factor is your deck building based on the incentive of the prizes? Ultimately is what I'm trying to ask. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna suck, but I think that's gonna be my route. I'm gonna have to wait it out, and I'm okay with it. Opportunity is gonna come, opportunity is gonna go. I gotta be okay with not being able to buy everything. So hopefully you learned something today. That's just kind of my thought process on what I'm seeing for the event that's coming up. Um, Damn, I don't know. Like Riftbound has so much going for it. This really just solidified my investments more. Like I know people are talking down on it. Like it ran up a lot and it's coming down a lot. But at the end of the day, when you buy these championship, when you buy these championship card, it's kind of different. If Akali sells for like 30,000, that's really the new support. Like there's rarely going to be any chance that it's going to go lower than 30,000 for the most part, right? From what I saw. Like Ari, the last sold was maybe 250 for some trade. So for Ari to go for like, 200,000 or 150, like I don't really see that happening, but who knows, right? It's just these prize cards are different. Every new sell is like the new support. It's kind of crazy to really see it. It's limited. Your downside risk is kind of capped, but not a lot of people are going to be able to afford these right now. So with this one, I'm going to be watching on the sideline. Hopefully you learned something today. Leave some comments, questions, whatever you have. I'll love to hear your thoughts, you know, if I'm making the right decision, if I'm making the wrong decision. But yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.